What's going on, everyone? So the first Summer League game is in the books. We also got a game tomorrow. They're going to be running back-to-back, so look forward to that. Want to kind of go over all the takeaways from this game from an individual player standpoint. Now, look, this is the first Summer League game, right? I know people are going to overreact. I know people are going to overblow things, but these are guys trying to just figure stuff out, trying to make a roster, trying to show their talents, right? You see guys that are doing a little too much, right? You see that every Summer League, every season, right? I've talked about it with several other guys. Even Max Christie, his first Summer League game, I talked about how, like, hey, he looks like he's a guy trying to make the team rather than a guy that's already on the team. You see that a lot with guys. Guys are trying to do a little too much, trying to impress not only the team that they're currently on and playing for, but also for a lot of these guys, the various teams that are watching. You got all these coaches, you got all these executives, GMs and stuff, all there kind of scouting and watching to go, hey, maybe we need to pluck this guy or maybe we need to pluck that guy, right? So it's just something to keep in mind when you're thinking of Summer League, right? 90% of the players on this Summer League roster won't even play in the NBA possibly, right? I'm not talking about just the Lakers roster. I'm talking about just rosters, period. Most of these guys aren't even going to be able to make the league. So they're trying to do a little too much. But that being said, let's dive into it. I want to get Maxwell Lewis out the way because he was everything I wanted to see. Literally. Again, first game. Got to keep calm expectations. But from what we saw from Maxwell Lewis in that first game was exactly what I wanted to see. Clearly was the best player on that basketball court. Got whatever he wanted whenever he wanted it. Right? Was casually coasting to the rim, play after play after play. He looked like the guy that we hoped that would take those jumps, take those strides from year one into year two. Right? Max Christie was the guy that I talked about. I wanted to see Maxwell Lewis kind of, have those strides, right? You saw in the first Summer League game with Max Christie, again, a guy that you're just kind of like, hey, man, like you're already on the team, right? Like slow it down. And then year two, you saw just the strides that he took and the comfortability he had out there and was clearly the best player on the court every game he played. It's what you're seeing from Maxwell Lewis, right? Maxwell Lewis is a guy that he just looks very comfortable out there, very confident, like none of these guys can stop me. And that's what you want to see from Maxwell Lewis. And I hope that that continues to progress, right? Again, it's one game. I need to see that game in and game out, particularly from him because he is in year two trying to get into the rotation. If the Lakers end up dumping some players or something and we need a piece or they end up making a trade or something, he's the kind of guy that very likely could end up making and actually getting rotation minutes. I mean, he's on the roster, but talk about rotation minutes, right? So now let's move into the other guys. Start with Colin Castleton. He still looked very raw. I was a little disappointed in him, but again, first Summer League game, he did start to really pick it up as the game progressed. You saw him start getting his shot to fall. You saw him be able to step out and shoot the three. That was the big thing. Can he step out and knock down the three ball? You saw that in this game. You saw his ability to do so. He's still an excellent playmaker out of the post. You saw a couple moments where he's just wheeling and dealing out there. The effort, the energy, keeping balls alive. He had a couple that he couldn't get to that he just was able to tap out, but it was like a controlled tap. It wasn't just like, they're slapping it out hoping that somebody gets it. So there was like one or two of those, but there were like one or two where he actually like controlled tapped it to one of his players. Really like that. But I'm going to need to see a little more kind of consistency from him if he's going to make the roster, right? Lakers definitely need another big man. What is there out on the market that the Lakers are going to be able to pick up? We're going to see, whether it's via trade or free agency. The Lakers also did sign him to a new deal, so they don't have to worry, because that was the big concern, is like we might lose Colin Castleton if he's really good. Now, Lakers got him, he's secured, he's good, they're not worried about it, but I need to see a little more consistency from him going forward. Not going to put too much weight into this first game either way. You got to keep cooler heads prevail, but was a bit disappointed personally. I was expecting a little more control. It's probably the best way to put it. Now let's get into our two-way guys. Let's talk about Bronny James, our two-way, our players, period, right? Not just two-way guys, but our rookies this year, right? So let's talk about Bronny James. Let's jump into Bronny James. So I know a lot of people have already seen all the threads and stuff like that where people talk about Bronny's trash, this, that, and the other. Again, first game. But he was a little raw. He was a guy that definitely needs some development, definitely needs some upside. But you saw a lot of the tools that you wanted to see. Him, particularly on the defensive side, disrupting passing lanes, staying in front of guys, closing out strong, right? Being that high energy guy, being that dirty work guy, being the guy that can get out and push the pace in transition, right? Him being able to kick it out. He had some nice plays in transition. He's a guy that's what I'm expecting him to be. Not everyone has to be a superstar. Not everyone has to be a top 5 guy in the league. You need those quality, just dirty work, hustle hard type guys. Look at Alex Caruso and how much praise he gets and how every team in the league wants him. He's not a superstar, right? He's an excellent blue chip role player. And you need those guys. He was on the team and was a huge reason we won the NBA championship in 2020. Bronny James can evolve into that type of player, a legit 3-and-D, just get after it on the defensive side, knock down the 3 ball, make some plays, get some sets. He can initiate actions. Like, those are the kind of things that I want to see from Bronny James. I think he got a little glimpse of it. Again, he had some, clumsiness, some, little like, that's a little rough, but let him kind of get into the flow of things, right? First game, Knecht, jump into him. Right, everybody's so focused on Bronny James and how trash he looked. Knecht didn't look great. Knecht didn't look very good at all. But again, you saw some of the gems. His shot looked good. You saw him be able to put the ball on the deck and blow by. Right, you saw him kind of bully his way in at times. You saw him be able to get to his spot and elevate for the mid-range. Again, shooting, the shot wasn't falling, but you saw him and what you want to see for when the shot is falling. Right, you want to be able to see him hit the step back and pull up. You want to see him be able to beat a guy off the dribble and elevate in the mid-range. You want to see him be able to, pump fake and get straight to the rim and use some of that athleticism. Also, you saw Knecht really kind of wheel and deal it. I was very impressed with his passing. I was very impressed with the way he was able to find guys. Right? And it wasn't just like the open man. It was guys cutting. It was him surveying the floor. It was him thinking on a dime. Those are the kind of things that I really want to see from guys like Knecht, from guys like Bronny James. Really thought that they showed, the glimpses of what you want to see. Were they both raw? Were they both, kind of like, yes. But again, they're rookies coming in. You got jitters. You got, you're not playing you're playing organized basketball, but they didn't have time. It's not like the NBA where you have training camp for a month and then you're jumping in and everyone understands their role. Everyone's getting a workout. No, they have 3 days and then they're jumping in immediately into summer league. I mean, even the Kings, they were hitting shots, but they were just fucking, they were all over the place, right? At times. It was just, they were hitting shots and the Lakers weren't, right? So, again, I liked what I saw from them. I wasn't impressed. I wasn't like, yes, Knecht's the steal that I thought he was. Bronny James, right? He showed the haters wrong. No, they definitely weren't ideal, but you saw the things that you're looking for from both guys. What do you want Bronny to be? A legit 3-and-D, get after it, dirty work, hustle guy. He showed that. Knecht, a guy that can get his own shot, basically get and shoot from anywhere, be able to put the ball on the deck and make plays. He showed all of those things. Now, the two-way guys, right? So, first off, Blake Hinson. I want to save Traore because I want to talk about him heavily. But Hinson, right? Blake Hinson was everything that we thought he would be, right? Able to shoot 3 ball, able to get to the spot, hit the mid-range, right? He missed the 2 attempts or whatever that he took from there, but he was able to get there. The bully ball, put the ball down, just get out of my way type thing and be able to get to the basket. Nice playmaking ability, right? He's not a playmaker, but he was able to get some plays, find the man. He had that nice in transition pass where, again, he's on a 2-way. He's not on the raw. I mean, he's on a 2-year 2-way, but he's not actually on the roster yet. He wants to impress. He wants to show out. He wants to ball out. But he looked. What I was more impressed with Blake Hinson more than anything was the confidence and swagger he had. That was very impressive. Because Bronny, looked a little like, hey, he had the little jitters in him, right? Knecht had the little jitters in him, right? Blake Hinson walked out there like he was like, this is just another Saturday, right? Give me that rock. Let's go. Like, I loved the confidence in that guy. I loved how he just it didn't matter that somebody was closing out, knocked it down. Shot 44% on contested threes. Not catch and shoot threes. He led the NCAA in, and he shot 42% from the 3-point range, period. But on contested threes, he shot 44%. That is spectacular. And you saw it in this game. He's actually a better shooter contested than he is wide open. Probably because he's thinking about it more. A lot of guys are, right? But that's the thing. Like, the size, the mass, I talked about, is he potentially the Rui Hachimura replacement, right? If the Lakers end up making a trade, Rui's probably the guy that's going out. And you could use a guy with his physicality and size. Blake Hinson looked like he could fill that void, right? Again, still a little raw, still needs a little time. Right? I'm not expecting him to jump into the actual roster and or anything like that right away, but I wouldn't be shocked if he actually got some minutes and actually made a significant impact, particularly with his three-point shooting. I don't think he's going to get, even if he does play, the 52 games or whatever that he can play as a two-way guy. Even if he plays all the games, I don't think he's going to be, a focal point offensively enough to where he's going to be able to show what we want to see from him. But as like a catch and shoot 3-point guy that can play some defense and be physical, he can be that. He can be that very well. I mean, he showed that. I was very happy with his performance. Again, wasn't the perfect, but it was what you wanted to see in regards to him. Armel Traore. I made a video, I believe it was on the Lakers show, AIS The Lakers Show channel, where I said that I believe he's the gem. I think he's the guy that the Lakers, people are going to go, wow, the Lakers got to steal from. Right? Not saying he's that right now, but he was very impressive. He is a development guy. Him and Bronny are the two development guys. Traore and Bronny, guys that are young, you're probably going to spend the next 2-3 years developing them, and then they move into the roster. But Traore, he was high motor, high energy, getting after it. He looked a lot bigger than he did overseas, right? Not like he grew inches or anything. I'm just talking about like he looked like he put some muscle on or put some size on. He was always, he's 6'8", 6'9", but he has like a 7'2", 7'3" wingspan. But you saw him and his potential versatility. Obviously the hustle, energy, rebounding, putbacks, right? Getting and one. Like, he was doing a little bit of everything. He was very impressive. He was better than Colin Castleton was, right? Traore I was like, yes. That's the guy that I thought he was. But his versatility is where I think he'll be most important, because he's a guy that I believe you'll be able to eventually, again, not necessarily right now, but eventually be able to slot 3 through 5. I think he's a guy that you want to go small, play small ball, boom, he can be your small ball center, shift over, slide, and play the 4, also play the 3. Just needs to develop that 3-point shot, which I do believe he will be capable of, but even as like a small ball center, I think he showed what you want to see in that regard. But I like him for his particularly defensive versatility. You saw it even in this game. His ability to defend the paint, right? Contest shots. He's over there blocking shots, doing all that stuff. But then he was able to switch and defend out on the perimeter and move and shift and stay in front of guys and impact guys, right? That's what I really am high on him for. If he can develop that 3-point shot, he has potential to be a very important piece for the Lakers, right? Because his ability to defend essentially 1 through 5. And then also get down low, and then if he can develop that shot, I believe he'll be money. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion. I pass the question on to you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? How do you feel? What are your thoughts? Were you impressed by these guys? Were you excited for these guys? Were you kind of like, I get it. I understand people are going to take this, Lakers are trash, but it's first game of Summer League. Let's see what game 2 looks like, game 3, and then when they get to Las Vegas, Las Vegas is the one that really matters, right? That's the one where you get the trophy and all that stuff, right? So we'll see how that goes. But again, I was impressed with some guys, a little disappointed with others, but overall, I thought you saw the signs from guys that you wanted to see, particularly for the first Summer League game. But again, how you feel, whatever your thoughts are, let me know down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. Helps me enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.